Welcome from the FOX61 Archives, where we are taking a look at the stories we'll always remember by seeing at what we covered that day. I'm Matt Scott. Now, we don't get a lot of hurricanes in Connecticut, but the ones that we've seen, they hit hard and they become pretty memorable. Let's open up the archive and look at our coverage.
It was 80 years ago today that many people in New England woke up and went to school or work just like it was any other day. Now, the forecast was for a few showers with a bit of a breeze, but that afternoon a Category 3 hurricane tore through, changing parts of Connecticut forever. Forecasters knew a tropical system was off the East Coast, but there was great uncertainty as to where it was located and where it was headed. This was back before weather satellites gave us a clear picture of the Earth from above, so tropical systems often came in without warning. Now, as morning turned to afternoon, the conditions went from okay to just horrible in a flash. The hurricane moved nearly due north, and it was motoring, reaching a forward speed of more than 50 miles per hour as it neared Connecticut, earning the nickname of Long Island Express. After tearing through Long Island, the storm made landfall around Milford, Connecticut, with winds of around 120 miles per hour. Actress Katharine Hepburn nearly drowned swimming to safety as her old Saybrook home was inundated. The New Haven rail line was washed away in several locations, and the New London business district burned to the ground. Narragansett Bay, Rhode Island had an estimated storm surge of 15.8 feet, causing water to rush through the streets of Providence and killing more than 100 in the process. Even inland towns were terribly affected by the hurricane of 38. Middletown and Portland saw the water rise so much that the Brownstone Quarry was permanently flooded, opening the door for the adventure park that exists today. In Hartford, the Connecticut River swelled to a mile wide, as anywhere from Bushnell Park to East Hartford became a temporary river. And it's estimated that around 275 million trees fell in New England, altering the landscape of both shoreline and inland towns. Now, if that happened nowadays, it would be just devastating. All we can do now is prepare every hurricane season and stay up to date with the forecast. I'm Dan Amaranti, Fox 61 News.
We really aren't 100% sure what Irene's impact over Connecticut will be. We know someone's going to get blasted. Irene is not going to disappear, and we are a likely target. Connecticut has had hurricanes before. Our biggest, and by biggest, I mean biggest since the colonists settled New England, was the hurricane of 38. 38 was a Category 3 storm. Along with its monstrous winds, it swept in 14 to 18-foot tides across much of the state, as much as 25-foot tides from New London east. A foot to a foot and a half of rain fell across the Connecticut River Valley, and the storm was a surprise. Across New York and New England, over 500 people died. Nearly 9,000 homes were destroyed, 15,000 more damaged. Hurricane Irene will not have the fury of 38, nor the element of surprise. 38 totally unpredicted. Hurricane Gloria is another story. That storm too came up the coast and hit Connecticut as a Category 1. It was already dying as it came onshore near Branford, but even a weak Hurricane Gloria left 670,000 customers without electricity, some for a few weeks. It's likely Hurricane Irene will be stronger than Gloria when it strikes Sunday evening, meaning more impact, more trees down, more power lines down, and more flooding. It is the wind from hurricanes we consider first, the devastation of things knocked down. But here in Connecticut, wind is sometimes second. Rain is often first. Back in 1955, two spent hurricanes passed over our state in a little over a week. Hurricane Connie brought 4 to 6 inches. Then came Hurricane Diane. Nick Kosha was in the Brooklyn section of Waterbury.
The rains kept coming and coming and coming and coming. Well, when I got up that morning, I seen the devastation all over Brooklyn. People up on top of rooftops, people struggling going down the river.
With nearly 2 feet of accumulated rainfall, in Winston, the Mad River, usually a small flow right along Main Street, went mad. By the time the river had crested, it was as high as second-story windows. Record high water was recorded on the Housatonic and Naugatuck rivers. Waterbury submerged.
I have never seen so much devastation in my life and in the city. It was like bombs were had dropped all over the place. People crying, people sad.
It's tough to look at these pictures and think this is Connecticut, but it is. There have been improvements over the years. Flood control dams high up in the hills, protection in the lower Naugatuck Valley. Mother Nature is tricky. She's capable of the unexpected. It's just another reason Hurricane Irene will draw so much attention this week.
West Hartford, and Blueback Square is completely desolate, but not everyone has the opportunity to stay at home today. You know there's some serious weather coming. Why are you out in the...
I do. I own a company. We got to get the work done. I called them yesterday, and unfortunately they're open. I got nothing to do with that. If it was up to me, I wouldn't be here, but it is what it is. It's part of the business.
Why did you decide to come in today?
Not by choice, I guess. Nobody else would come in, so I had to come in.
Why did you decide to brave the wind and the water to come out today?
We were hungry. so we left campus because everything was closed on campus. So we've been driving around waiting for something to be open. This is the only place open.
Some people were looking for more than just work and food. Also, some people are looking for electricity. At least 3,000 homes have lost power here. The mayor has now declared a state of emergency. Reporting in West Hartford, Ayanna Harry, Fox, Connecticut. This morning, hundreds of utility crews rolled out in Connecticut. The trucks came from as far away as Indiana. Workers were flown in from Canada, and they all have one goal: to finally turn all of the lights back on.
When you have a wide-scale event of the size and girth of Hurricane Irene, it's beyond anybody's reasonable ability to staff for that. So you have to use the mutual aid.
This shopping mall parking lot in Westbrook is now a command center for dozens of crews. Even a helicopter was flown in to help out.
We can mobilize feed, fuel, stock, all these crews and get them on the road.
The priority today, restore electricity in town centers. But still many homeowners are wondering when they'll get service again. For many families, this is now day 5 with no electricity. The first selectman of Scotland said, quote, CLMP hasn't been honest or forthright with our towns, and they have not followed through on a single commitment they made to us.
We have a heightened sense of urgency. We have all available resources working 24/7 to serve these customers.
There is some good news today for businesses like the Tanger outlets in Westbrook. After being closed for 4 days with no power, the lights are now back, and they are back in business.
The impact's been huge for us for the last 4 days, but we're just thankful we have it on now in time for the Labor Day holiday.
We're on Long Wharf Drive in New Haven, where the wind gusts are very strong right now. You can feel them almost pushing us over at this point. The water level is also increasing right now significantly. The water's splashing up over the seawall right here. Police have actually closed down some of the roads. You can see the sign there sort of bowing in the wind. They're making sure people are not driving through here right now, going through with their megaphones and getting people off the road at this time right now. But the question becomes, as time goes on, as this water splashes up over, how high is this going to rise, and whether this main street here, Long Wharf Drive, could start to flood. And that's what police are watching out for, getting everybody off the road and telling them you cannot be out here right now. For now, reporting in New Haven, Bo Berman, Fox, Connecticut.